My name is Dr. Becket. I was the anesthesiologist on the day of Mrs. Romanov's C-section. We had a lot of rush C-sections on this day, and Mrs. Romanov came in around midnight. She came in, I did my assessment, and determined that she had a Class 2 airway. I wanted to proceed with a spinal, and I began the spinal, and she seemed very anxious and very nervous, and the nurse was there trying to calm her down. So about 15 minutes later, Dr. O'Leary asked if we could begin the surgery. I told him the spinal hasn't started working yet, and I asked for a couple more minutes to see if it would start to work. He said he was in a rush and had to begin surgery, and asked and requested that we did general anesthesia. I said, okay, but I have to reassess the airway because she is a Class 2. He said we don't have time. He needs to begin surgery because there were decels on the fetal heart rate monitor. So I began the general anesthesia, and again, he asked if he could begin, and I said, she's asleep, but I need to intubate. And he began his incision anyway. So I immediately began to intubate, but I could not pass because her jaw would not open wide enough. I tried to ventilate, but that was also unsuccessful. So I called for the code team to do a surgical airway, but no one really reacted to this. And then again, I yelled that we need the code team, like call code. And finally a nurse went and called the code. And then it seemed like it took forever for them to get there. And when they finally did, they said that they had trouble finding the room. So we began working on the surgical airway, and eventually her O2 sats began to come up. And that is what happened from my point of view on this day. Thanks.